meeting with the approval of the minutes from our June meeting. If anybody...
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the June meeting.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, Michelle.
Okay, at our July 8th meeting, first we issued a proclamation for Joe Orlando as the outgoing LBA president. He also sold his business, Fiddle Street Books. We're excited of a woman and her daughter coming in and buying it and going to keep it open, so that's really good. We also approved ordinance number 192, which was finalizing the sale of surplus property, which is our second condo unit on Courthouse Drive. Then we also introduced ordinance number 193, which is a zoning text amendment that you all will be making a recommendation on today. And then finally, we issued a change order to the Mahan Rifle contract for our downtown strategic plan for them to come back and do 3 of their recommended items which we budgeted, which is the wayfinding signage plan, the rebranding or updated branding of the town, and the alleyway improvement plan for the alleys behind the gym building and by the parking lot. So we'll be getting started with that at the end of August. They'll be in town again and doing some committee meetings with various groups depending on the topic. So we're excited to get that moving. And we also budgeted some money to do a lot of the landscape improvements that were in the recommended plan, if you've had a chance to take a look at that or seen the presentation. So we'll be seeing a lot of activity based on that plan coming forward.
Okay, thank you. Before we go any farther, I want to acknowledge that we have a scout in the room who is here observing our meeting today. Would you like to give us your name, please?
My name is Sam Rutherford, and I'm a part of the BSA Troop 1793.
Thank you. We're happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Under new business, we have case number 66-18, Detention Center Expansion, 41880 Baldridge Street, and a request for their final site plan approval.
Okay, the St. Mary's County Board of Commissioners are requesting final site plan approval for an approximately 9,500 square foot addition to the existing detention center. This project actually came before you and received concept approval back in October of 2018, and I did include those minutes in your package to review what you discussed prior. The addition will include an extensive medical wing as well as an additional 64 beds. And to date, letters of approval have been received from Soil Conservation District and the Department of Public Works and Transportation. The only thing that's pending is Fire Marshal review and approval. He's been quite busy lately. So today you have Drew Kelly, Chris Bologna, and Gary Whipple, who can answer any other questions that you may have of them.
I'm Gary Whipple. I'm with the Department of Public Works and Transportation, and I'll introduce our project team and those who have been working on this project. Our director is here, John Dietrich. He's the Director of Public Works and Transportation. You've met him. Drew Kelly, as we mentioned, is our new project manager who's come on board since the October meeting, and he'll be working with us directly on the project. We have Assistant Sheriff, Mike American, and we have our Assistant Warden, Marianne Thompson, from the Corrections Division. So they're the end user for this product. And of course, nothing gets done around here without consultants, and we have Chris Bologna, he's the president of CSBI Incorporated. He's our construction manager. He's been working with us on this project since before the concept when we came before you back in October. So he's on board for the construction phase as well. So that's the team that we assembled. And what I wanted to briefly discuss with you is the changes to the plan that you saw and approved, the updates from the October meeting. So when we presented the concept, we showed a different scheme for the storm drainage, tying into some mains that were actually coming down along the side to the main retention area that we have in the back. We've actually looked at the capacity, and we were able to reroute that storm drainage directly down to the stormwater retention area in the bottom. Matter of fact, it shows better on the water and sewer plan. So we were able to use that efficiency. We're coming directly to the area that already exists. There's enough capacity. Also, in concept, we showed you the retaining wall as being a little closer into the building. At that point, we didn't really have a lot of design detail. So the retaining wall that was out here on the edge of the relocated access road, we're able to look at the configuration of the site, work with the contractor, and come up with a system. It's essentially a tieback system. Instead of a traditional cast-in-place retaining wall that had a lot of height to it, we've come up with a system where you have successive layers of geofabric that ties back into the slope, and it gives you a shorter wall, but it also kind of brings the slope out a little bit. So that's been an improvement or a change to the plan. Other than that, we're still looking at the utility tie-ins. Sewer sewer for the addition is actually tying into the existing building's sewer infrastructure and coming out the same area to the main manhole before it comes down to the plant. And then we are extending a water line to bring the fire hydrant, the fire service back to the back side of the building. That was shown on the concept. So, right. So it's in the same floor layout, pretty much the same utility layout. We just made some revisions to the storm drainage and the same the sewer capacity. So the details you have before you in the plan that we submitted. Again, we do have approval from Soil Conservation District and our own department on the stormwater management. So if you have any questions pertaining to that, we can entertain that. And then we wanted to show you what the building now looks like. We gave you an isometric in your package. So this is the facility as you'll see it when it's completed. The first floor is a full first floor. That's where the medical services wing is. And then above that, we have a housing area, which would be the second floor. And then there's a mezzanine level above that, which is where we get the extra bed space. And then where we have an enclosed rec area, which is this mass right here coming off to the back of the building. So this is the isometric of what the additional actually look like. We included the elevations in the package for your reference as well. So if you have any questions about the final design, about the final site plan, we can entertain those at this time.
Anybody?
That look good.
The distances from the communities are all still the same, none of that's changed?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, and this is again, this is behind the current detention center from the district court and the rest of the governmental center. So it stands behind the existing building. I mean, you'll see it obviously because it's 3 floors, but the same viewscapes that you have. It's not the draw that is on the other side of the detention center still remains. There's no clearing on the other side. You'll see it from the south. Or the sheriff's headquarters building is off to off this way. And there is some. We did do some tree removal in here to put in a stormwater retention area, but other than that, there's no clearing that exposes this to any other viewscapes that don't already exist. So.
Thank you.
No other comments or questions? Are we ready for motion then?
I can make a motion. Here's my little piece of paper.
Right.
I make a motion that we move to approve the requested final site plan for the construction of the 9,500 plus minus addition to the existing detention center for case number 66-18, pending fire marshal review and approval.
Is there a second?
A
Yes,
second.
so,
Go ahead.
The shell permit is gonna come before your final fire marshal approval.
Right, and that, we can phase it, but they need to approve it, the final building permit pending the fire marshal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But we can phase it and give you the shell permit prior to that.
right, so the site plan approval is today, then when we fire review for building permit.
Exactly.
Right? Mhm.
A second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Your next case, we're gonna have Lachelle introduce.
Oh, okay.
This is for a recommendation to the town council for zoning text amendments to our commercial business, commercial marine, and commercial highway districts. Currently in commercial business and commercial marine, we allow microbreweries. We have recently had a lot of interest in breweries in the downtown and also in the commercial area on Route 5. Commercial marine is strictly at the wharf, and we had added microbreweries to that district several years ago, just in case the restaurant that we get down there would be want to do a brewery. So there has been some interest. This is really about economic development. It's really become the fad across the nation with breweries, distilleries, and wineries. So we want to be prepared if someone does want to come into town, that they are allowed use in all of our commercial districts. Currently, right now, commercial highway, which is basically on Route 5, does not have microbreweries in it. We didn't have a reason at the time. But I know in Wayne Davis's new building, there's someone who's talking about a possible brewery and on the Penny's property for that. So we really just want to be prepared for any economic development benefit that we can get for something like this. So what will happen is we introduced the ordinance last month. You all will send a recommendation if you're in favor or not, or if you have any concerns about it. And then we'll hold a public hearing at the August town council meeting, and they can take action on the ordinance at that time. So this would just make it an allowable use. And really the difference between the microbrewery and just saying a brewery and a distillery and a winery would be the size and the amount of beer. A microbrewery is almost like a home brewery, it's a very small amount. And the state actually has different categories, and even a regular brewery wouldn't be something like an industrial sized brewery. So there's limitations that are put on that anyway, so unless you have any concerns.
Aye.
Any questions?
No, no
Comments?
question.
I know I've had a lot of people mention to me that St. Mary's County is behind
Yes.
in this, because they do have it over in Calvert County.
And we have an easier process here in town than outside in the
Yeah.
county. I know when the winery wanted to go at its location, basically we just did the same procedure and added wineries to the Recreation and Parks District. So, we just really want to be business friendly and open the doors if somebody is interested in coming into the area, be prepared for it.
Is there any downside to doing this kind of thing? I mean, water use, effluent?
No, we've actually I've met with a couple of different breweries in the past that have had an interest. And, you have to, look at what size brewery they're at, how much beer they wanna brew. And we look at the water usage and that's, how we allocate the EDUs. But there's not really, we're certainly open to any economic development and benefits. So I think it's a good thing. It's across the state and other places and across the nation. It's very popular.
If I can just say, as far as the water that is used to clean the facilities and stuff like that, every brewer, every winery, every distiller, they all use the same product called Star San. Star sand is so safe for the environment. You could pour it all over your lawn and you would still have beautiful grass. So it's not gonna be anything that's gonna go into our system and contaminate anything. It's an extremely safe product and everybody uses it. It's the only product to use.
Okay.
I have a question about, food. Are they required to serve food if they serve the, beer?
You would probably end up.
Actually, so that wouldn't, as far as the town and what they're proposing, the town would not require them to serve food. When they get their state or their federal licenses, typically it's state that regulates it, depending on the size of the brewery, winery, or distillery, the state may require that it be attached to a restaurant or serve some sort of pub food or have pre-made something available. It depends on the size.
Okay, because I mean, I know somebody said that, oh, they wouldn't want to do something like that because they didn't want to get in the restaurant business. And I know in other towns where I've been, I've gone to them and there would be a pizza place, you know, right close, and they would order pizza and you could take your own food if you wanted, like you do
Yes.
out at the winery.
So I think that has a lot to do with the county, St. Mary's County government rules.
Okay,
They only allow breweries, wineries, and distilleries that are attached to restaurants, period. No ifs, ands, or buts, unless they are a farm brewery or a farm winery. There's no
okay.
such thing as a farm distillery, unfortunately. However, a farm brewery and a farm winery, they're the only ones that could do it without having to have food. And that's why St. Mary's County does not have a brewery anywhere. Because brewers don't know the restaurant business, they don't want to go into
Right.
the restaurant business.
Well, but the Ruddy Duck did over in Calvert, so
In Calvert, yes, because Calvert does not have the same
okay.
rules that St. Mary's does.
When the winery opened, they didn't have a requirement to have food. Since they have added some, you know, cheese
Right.
platters and stuff like that, but they didn't have a requirement.
Well, I think it's better for us to have the least amount of requirements like that if we really want to
Sure.
attract them to
We
come
want to be
and be a
flexible, yeah.
business here in town.
Right.
Anybody else have any? You ready for a motion?
Well, I certainly move to send a favorable recommendation for ordinance number 193 to town council.
I'll second it.
And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
you very
we'll look forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I look forward to a restaurant coming down to the wharf.
Well, we'll see. Do we have any questions about our monthly in-house permits? Or any actions that were taken?
The activities.
Activities, yes.
Any updates on that fire?
That would be Lachelle's
Um,
area.
I heard last week that the fire marshal had completed his investigation and, I believe that the owner was burning behind the building and it got out of control, but I don't believe there were any charges or anything. And amazingly, Shepherd's Field wasn't affected.
Thank
Yeah.
goodness, thank goodness.
In all fairness, the fire department did an amazing job.
I
The
was like,
second
if
they
you're
showed
gonna
up-
have a fire.
Well, the second,
Yeah, right.
the second they showed up, they immediately started spraying
Shepherd's?
where
Yeah.
Jerry's is
Mhm.
towards the fire, because the wall that's there could have very easily fallen onto Shepherd's
Yeah.
Old Field. Now granted, it's all cinder block, but the roofing would have caught and that would have
But
been
yeah.
bad.
Mhm.
But they did a great job. They really did.
Well, that was a huge billow of smoke that went up from that
Yes.
fire.
I was in Florida, but everyone texted me pictures like before the fire hadn't even got there. I'm like, stop!
Okay.
Back to the beach.
Yes, seriously.
If there's no other questions or comments, a motion for adjournment?
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second?
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.